So once we have talked about range, loops, and how to use for loop, we can also talk about list now. Now, if you remember in Java, when we talk about collection API, we have different, we can create list object, right? Again, we can use array list here, we can add the values, but when I know the values by default, we can use something like this, right? Otherwise, we have to create object of array list, and then we have to add this value one by putting add. Instead of that, I can put all these values here itself. And then we can also print the values. So this is how you use a for loop to work with list as well, right? Now, how can we use that in Kotlin? So what we can do is I can create. Okay, so I can say var nums equal to, and in order to create a list, we can simply say list of, and in this bracket you can mention the values 1, 2, 3, 4. So once we got the values, now this nums is not a normal value. This is a list of values. So with this list of values, we can print all the values. The way we can do that is by, in fact, first of all, let me just prove my point. I will say nums dot. You can see we get all these methods. Now question arises from where you're getting all these methods. So if I say get, and if I click on this get method, okay, can you see that it is coming from collections? Now, when I say collections, list extends collection, right? So this is a list of values here. So this is a list. So how do I print all the values? So I will say for, and okay, so for, and then we'll say I in nums. Now we can print one value here. We can say not system.out.println, we have to say println itself, and we can say I here. The moment you do that, you can print all the values. Let's see the output now. Okay, and you can see we got the output as 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that makes sense, right? We got this value in the list. Now you might be wondering, in Java, we have this option of using normal for loop as well. And when we use normal for loop, what we can actually do is we can take the entire list and we can iterate to the entire list using a normal for loop, and we can print the index number and we can print the value both. In this case, we are printing only values. What if you want to print index number as well? How can we do that here? So what we can do is, this nums has a method called as with index. So with this with index method, it returns you two things. It returns you the index number. It also returns you the value. So what I will do here is I will use a bracket. I will represent that value something like this. I will say I, which will represent the index number, and E, which will represent the element, right? So all we can say values. So we can say element or values. I can print the value of I. I can say $I. I will put that in double quotes. So I will say the index number first, and then I will give a comma. Of course, I should end that here as well. And I will say $E. So by this, what we are doing is we are printing the index number and then we are printing the element both. Let's run this. Let's see what happens now. And you can see the output now. We got the index number and we got the element as well. So don't feel bad. In Java, we have normal for loop. Here we don't have that. But we can do everything which a normal for loop can do in this situation, in this way. So as you can see, nums has a method called with index, and you can print the index number and the element both. Again, we don't have to do this every time. The best way would be the things which we have done before. So that's how we can use list. But then let's imagine you have a map. Okay, let's imagine this is not a list, this is a map. Now, if you remember, in Java, we have a concept of map as well, right? Something like this. So we have a map, and what we do in map is we have a key value pair. So we'll be having a key and then we'll be having a value here. Example, my name here is a key and this is an age. Now, since I'm an alien, we don't have a physical age, we have a virtual age. We have an age depending upon the number of hours we work. So let's say we got this 543, this is my age. And we got one more guy here who is Kishore, and the age of Kishore is 409. So this is key and this is a value, right? Now, how can we do that in Kotlin? So what I will do here is I will create a map. Now, how do I create a map here? Again, we can use tree map. We can use hash map, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm going for tree map just to show you the example how we can use Java in here. Okay, so what I will do here is I will say var, I will say aliens equal to, and I will say tree map. Okay, now this tree map will take two parameters. One will say this is, we have to specify the generic type also, right? We have to specify a string and int. Again, we give a semicolon. Oh, we are getting we don't need a semicolon there, and you can see we are getting an error here. Now, why error? It's because now tree map is a class, right? And it belongs to Java package, and we are working in Kotlin. And in fact, in Java also, whenever you want to use some classes which are not there in default package, we need to import them, right? So what I will do is I will import this. So we can say control space after the P. It will import the package automatically, and you can see it is coming from java.util, and this is the power of Kotlin. You can actually use Java code inside Kotlin, and we can use Kotlin code inside Java. So yeah, so we can you can see we got where aliens equal to tree map, and then we got the object. Let me add some values here. The way you can add it, it's very simple. We don't have to use any put method or something like that. We can use alien square bracket, and we can specify for name Naveen, I want to assign the value which is 543, which is the age of Naveen, and I will say aliens, and we can say this is Kishore, and we can say Kishore age is 409. So you can see we got this name and age both. Now this is a key value pair. Okay, now how do you fetch this value? Because in Java we have to use key set, and using key set you will get all the key values, and once you got all the key values you can fetch one value. Now Kotlin makes it easier for you. You can use a for loop, and there's a concept of tuple. Again, we don't use that tuple concept in Kotlin, but then what tuple means, it holds two values. So we can give a back. In fact, we have done that before for numbers with index. So what we can do is we can say name comma age, and we can say in aliens. Now what will happen is it will take two values. So this nums and age has two values. One, it has a name, and which is a key in this case, and this one is a value, right? So we got a key and a value. Let's print both. I will say print ln. Let me print a dollar name here, which will print the name, and I will say a colon, and I will print a dollar age, which will print the age. So I'm printing name and age both. So I'm printing the age and name of an alien. It's that easy to work with map. Now, if you still don't know about map is basically used for creating a key value pair. And map is used actually a lot in web development, in Android development. Maybe if you're not using map directly, there are some classes, there are some objects which we use, which indirectly implements map. Let's run this. Let's see what happens now. Okay, and you can see we got the output as Kishore 409 and Naveen 543. So that's how you can use map in Kotlin. So yeah, that's it from this video. In the next video we'll talk about something else. Maybe we'll see about exceptions. So that's it from this video. Thank you so much for watching, and do subscribe for further videos.